Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation on temperament. My name is Octavio Ramirez Lopez. This for class MPA 520 Leadership and Management at California Baptist University for Dr. Beth Groves. So this presentation will be focused on temperament as introduced by Kersey in his book Please Understand Me. So I'll first start by identifying a couple of concepts, and then I'll just identify the four types of temperament that Kirsty talks about in his book. Then I'll move on to explaining why it's important to identify the different types of temperament, character, and the intelligence of applying it to leadership and amongst also day-to-day interactions with other team members. Okay, so Kirsty first talks about temperament as being the configuration of inclinations or the inborn form of a human nature. So, and then he talks about character being the emergent form which develops, through the interaction of temperament and environment. And that's kind of like the one more reflective one of the person. And then I said the intelligence has been basically the ability of the either the leader or the colleague to understand and identify and be able to adapt to other people's temperament so that uh, they can have more collaboration and avoid clashes. Okay, so the four types of temperament that Kirsty talks about in his book, Please Understand Me, are idealists, rationals, guardians, and artisans. So the idealists, they tend to be giving, trusting, focused on human journey and human potential. And then they tend to pride themselves on being loving, kind-hearted, and authentic. And they tend to make intense mates, nurturing parents, and inspirational leaders. Whereas rationals, they tend to be more pragmatic, skeptical. They tend to be more self-contained. They focus on problem solving and system analysis, and they tend to pride themselves on being ingenious, independent, and strong-willed. And they tend to make reasonable mates, individualizing parents, and strategic leaders. Whereas guardians, they tend to be more dutiful, cautious, humble, and they focus more on credentials and traditions. And they tend to pride themselves on being dependable, helpful, and hardworking. And they tend to make loyal mates, responsible parents, and stabilizing leaders. Whereas the last one is artisans. They tend to be more fun, loving, optimistic, realistic, and focused. And they also tend to pride themselves on being unconventional, bold, and spontaneous. And they make playful mates, creative parents, and then troubleshooting leaders. So there's different characteristics. They tend to have different behaviors based on those uh, things they tend to pride themselves on, and also what they tend to make, affecting the way they interact with others. Okay, so understanding temperament types can be very important in the field, especially in meetings when you have supervisors or regional managers with different personalities. So in order to avoid clashes, you kind of have to, it's very important to understand the way that, they tend to process things, their behavior, their temperament, and also in let's say putting things together, if you want to come up with a compromise or with an agreement, you kind of have to understand what other people's values. So for example, an artisan will be more, spontaneous, whereas a guardian will be more traditional. So it's going to be difficult for people like that to compromise and come up to an agreement. So that's why you have to understand that types of temperament as well as in teamwork. So you may have team members that could be either idealists or they could be rationals, guardians, or artisans, and they can also have more of a difficulty collaborating amongst each other due to their different values and how they tend to behave. So we've seen some issues in the office here at DPSS, Adult Protective Services in the Hammond office with Canyon Riverside, where we're holding meetings and there's people who tend to be, especially when they come up to about introducing either new technologies or new ways of doing things, and then the artisans are very excited. They're very, okay, I'm fine, I'll get through this, I'll work it out, I'll overcome, and I'll just start implementing what the new way. Whereas the guardian, there's others who just like to follow tradition, why change into a new method when we follow this older method and we all know how to do it, and it's just more easy to do it for us since we've done it, we already know it. Why understand and learn a new thing? So it is very important in that perspective, so that collaboration or introduction of new methods, or even coming up with a one decision, so that the all members involved can come up to a compromise, and makes it easier to understand different temperaments, different values, and different behaviors. So in conclusion, it is very important to understand different temperaments and character, and to have the intelligence to adapt to other people's temperament or character, in order to kind of more to promote more of collaboration from each other. Since by understanding even our own temperament and other people's temperament, we can probably come to a compromise and meet halfway in order to improve collaboration. These are my references. Looking forward to seeing you guys' presentations, seeing any type of feedback, and hopefully everyone has a blessed weekend. Thank you.